The Eastern Front of World War II was a crucible of unimaginable brutality, a conflict unlike any other in human history. It pitted two colossal ideologies against each other, consuming millions of lives in its relentless grind. Amidst the vastness of the Soviet plains and the unforgiving Russian winter, countless acts of heroism and desperation unfolded daily. Stories that would echo through time, tales of courage against overwhelming odds. Today, we delve into one such extraordinary account, the legendary tale of a single Soviet T-34 tank that, against all logic, managed to decimate an entire German armored column. A testament to engineering, bravery, and sheer audacity. It was the summer of 1941. Operation Barbarossa, Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union, was in full swing. The initial push was devastating, catching the Soviets largely unprepared. German panzer divisions, spearheaded by their formidable tanks, swept through vast territories, pushing deep into Soviet lands with terrifying speed. The blitzkrieg seemed unstoppable. Cities fell, armies were encircled, and the Soviet Union teetered on the brink of collapse. Morale was low, and the sheer scale of the German advance was a shock to everyone. But even in retreat, pockets of fierce resistance emerged. Individual soldiers, small units, and even single tanks often found themselves isolated, forced to make impossible stands. The T-34 medium tank was a game-changer. Its sloped armor, powerful 76mm gun, and excellent mobility made it superior to most German tanks of 1941. When it first appeared, it sent shockwaves through the German high command. They had nothing comparable, and their anti-tank weapons often struggled to penetrate its robust defenses. This revolutionary design, however, was often hampered by logistical issues, poor crew training in the early war, and a lack of proper tactical coordination. Yet, its potential was undeniable. Our story takes place near the town of Ostrov in the Pskov Oblast during the chaotic days of late June 1941, a time when the front lines were fluid and desperate actions were commonplace. Here we find a single T-34, detached from its unit, perhaps lost or deliberately positioned, commanded by Senior Sergeant Ivan Kolosovsky. His crew, though young, were seasoned by the conflict's early days. They were a small band, isolated yet determined. Their tank, a beacon of Soviet engineering, represented their last stand, their defiance against the encroaching enemy. Kolosovsky, a man of quiet resolve, understood the gravity of their situation. He knew that their survival, and perhaps the fate of the road they guarded, rested solely on their shoulders. Through the early morning mist, a rumbling sound began to grow in the distance. A sound that could only mean one thing on the Eastern Front: an enemy column. Scouts quickly confirmed Kolosovsky's fears. A substantial German column, stretching for what seemed like miles, was approaching their position, unaware of the lone T-34. It comprised trucks laden with supplies and infantry, armored cars, and even some light anti-tank guns. A vital resupply or advance force, moving confidently along the main road. Kolosovsky made a swift decision. Retreat was not an option, nor was surrender. They would hold this road or die trying. The T-34 was carefully concealed in a dense forest patch overlooking a narrow section of the road. As the lead German vehicles came into range, the tension inside the T-34 was palpable. Every crew member knew the stakes. This was a fight to the death. Kolosovsky waited, allowing more of the column to enter his kill zone. The roar of German engines, the chatter of soldiers, grew louder. Then he gave the command. The T-34's 76mm gun roared to life, shattering the morning's calm. The first shell slammed into the lead truck, erupting in a fiery explosion, blocking the road. Chaos erupted. German soldiers scrambled. Shouts of alarm filled the air. The column, caught completely by surprise, ground to a halt. The T-34 quickly reloaded, its gun traversing. Another shell, then another, tore through the column. Fuel trucks detonated spectacularly, sending plumes of black smoke skyward. The crew worked with precision, a well-oiled machine of destruction. The loader fed shells, the gunner aimed with deadly accuracy, and Kolosovsky directed the fire. Infantry disembarked from trucks, attempting to find cover, but the T-34's machine guns swept the road, pinning them down. It was a massacre. Armored cars, attempting to advance or retreat, were quickly disabled or destroyed. The narrow road became a choke point, a death trap for the German forces. The Germans, though surprised, were not entirely helpless. Some anti-tank teams tried to set up, desperately searching for the unseen assailant. But the T-34 was well hidden, its position carefully chosen. Its sloped armor deflected any incoming small arms fire, and the larger anti-tank guns were yet to be deployed effectively. The confusion in the German ranks was profound. They couldn't pinpoint the source of the attack, believing they were under assault from multiple tanks, not just one. Kolosowski, aware of the need to maintain the element of surprise, ordered bursts of fire, moving the tank slightly between shots to make its exact location harder to determine. The T-34 wasn't just a static firing platform. Kolosowski masterfully used the terrain, repositioning the tank to target different sections of the stalled column. He focused on the weakest points: fuel tankers, ammunition trucks, and troop transports, ensuring maximum damage and psychological impact. The German column was a tangled mess of burning vehicles and panicked soldiers. Retreat was impossible. The road was blocked at both ends by wreckage. The T-34's superior mobility allowed it to shift, appearing to attack from different angles, amplifying the Germans' confusion and terror. Hours passed, but to the crew of the T-34, it felt like an eternity. The air grew thick with smoke, the smell of cordite and burning fuel pervasive. The German attempts to organize a counterattack were repeatedly thwarted. Every time a unit tried to move, the T-34's gun would bark, silencing the threat. Kolosowski's crew, though exhausted, maintained their relentless pace. They knew that any lapse in concentration could mean their own demise. The sheer audacity of a single tank holding an entire column hostage was unprecedented, a testament to the crew's skill and the tank's resilience. As the sun climbed higher, the scale of destruction became undeniable. Dozens of German vehicles lay burning or shattered, their cargo destroyed, their crews scattered or dead. The initial shock gave way to despair among the German soldiers. They were trapped, pounded by an unseen enemy, their commanders unable to restore order. Some soldiers began to break formation, seeking escape through the surrounding forests, abandoning their positions and equipment. The psychological impact was immense. A single tank had not only inflicted massive material damage but had shattered the morale of an entire unit. Eventually, with the column in utter disarray and effective resistance crumbling, Kolosowski made the decision to withdraw. Their mission was accomplished. With careful movements, the T-34 slipped away from its ambush position, disappearing back into the dense foliage, leaving behind a scene of absolute devastation. The road was littered with the charred remains of trucks, armored cars, and countless casualties, a stark reminder of the T-34's terrifying effectiveness. The exact number of vehicles destroyed varies in historical accounts, but estimates range from several dozen to over 50, a truly astonishing feat for one tank. This single engagement, though a small skirmish in the grand scheme of the Eastern Front, became a powerful symbol of Soviet resistance. It showcased the T-34's superior design and the incredible bravery and ingenuity of its crews, who often fought against overwhelming odds. The story of Kolosowski and his tank spread, inspiring other Soviet units and demoralizing the German forces who encountered the formidable T-34. It highlighted a critical aspect of the war, that even the most advanced military machine could be halted and even defeated by determined individuals. While this specific incident didn't turn the tide of the war, it was one of many small victories that collectively chipped away at German confidence. The T-34 continued to be a backbone of the Soviet armored forces throughout the war, evolving and improving, always a formidable adversary. Its influence extended beyond the battlefield, shaping tank design for decades to come, proving the effectiveness of sloped armor and powerful armament. The Eastern Front was a brutal proving ground, and the T-34, along with its brave crews, emerged as one of its most iconic symbols. Beyond the steel and firepower, this story is fundamentally about the human spirit. The courage of a few men facing an entire enemy column. It speaks to the immense pressure and fear these soldiers must have felt, and their ability to overcome it through discipline and unwavering resolve. Kolosowski and his crew represent the countless unsung heroes of World War II, whose individual acts of bravery, though often forgotten, collectively shaped history. Their actions serve as a stark reminder that in the chaos of war, even a single, well-placed strike can have a disproportionate and devastating effect. Disrupting a supply column, even for a short time, could have significant tactical implications, delaying advances and starving frontline units. In the rapidly moving front of 1941, every delay, every lost vehicle, contributed to the slow erosion of the German blitzkrieg's momentum. This incident, therefore, was not just an isolated act of heroism. It was a small but crucial cog in the larger machinery of Soviet defense. It illustrated how localized resistance, when executed with cunning and determination, could inflict disproportionate damage on a larger, more organized force. The T-34 continued its service throughout the war, undergoing several modifications. The T-34-85, with its more powerful 85mm gun, became even more formidable. It played a pivotal role in major battles like Kursk, Stalingrad, and the final push to Berlin, cementing its place as one of the most iconic tanks of all time. Its mass production capabilities allowed the Soviets to field vast numbers of these tanks, overwhelming the Germans with sheer quantity and quality. The story of Kolosowski's T-34 is a microcosm of the larger struggle, a blend of technological superiority and human courage that defined the Eastern Front. Reflecting on this incident, it's clear that the human element, the bravery and tactical acumen of individuals, often proved decisive even in an age of mechanized warfare. The crew of that T-34 faced impossible odds, yet they chose to fight, and in doing so, they etched their names into the annals of military history. Their story reminds us that history is not just about grand strategies and massive armies, but also about the individual acts of defiance that shape events. It's a powerful lesson in resilience, a testament to what can be achieved when courage meets opportunity, even in the darkest of times. Imagine the scene. The narrow road, bordered by dense trees, the early morning light filtering through the leaves, casting long shadows. Then, the sudden thunder of the T-34's gun. The explosion, the screams, the frantic attempts of soldiers to find cover amidst the chaos. The air thick with smoke, the acrid smell of burning fuel and gunpowder, the rhythmic thud of shells impacting metal. It's a visceral image, one that transports us directly into the heart of that desperate, yet ultimately victorious, engagement. The effectiveness of an ambush lies not just in its destructive power, but in its psychological impact. The unseen enemy, the sudden attack, shatters morale. The German soldiers, accustomed to rapid advances and overwhelming superiority, were suddenly vulnerable, facing an enemy they couldn't locate or counter. This psychological warfare played a crucial role in breaking the column, turning an organized military unit into a panicked, fragmented mob. Kolosowski understood this implicitly, using the terrain and the element of surprise to maximum effect, amplifying the terror he inflicted. In 1941, the T-34 was truly ahead of its time. Its sloped armor offered superior protection against anti-tank rounds compared to vertical armor of the same thickness. The Christie suspension system provided excellent cross-country mobility, a crucial advantage on the often undeveloped roads and terrain of the Eastern Front. Its powerful V2 diesel engine not only offered good speed, but also reduced the risk of fire compared to gasoline engines used by many German tanks. These technical advantages, combined with the crew's skill, made the T-34 a truly formidable weapon in the early years of the war. The German column's composition, mostly soft-skinned vehicles and infantry, made it particularly vulnerable to a well-placed tank ambush. Their anti-tank capabilities were limited, and their deployment was slow, especially when under surprise attack in a confined space. The sheer length of the column also worked against them, creating a long, exposed target that couldn't quickly react or disperse. This incident highlights the importance of reconnaissance and proper security when moving through potentially hostile territory, a lesson learned the hard way. While Kolosowski is often highlighted, it's vital to remember the entire crew: the gunner, loader, driver, and radio operator. Each played a critical role, working in cramped, hot, and terrifying conditions, their lives dependent on each other's precision and speed. Their teamwork under extreme pressure allowed them to sustain their attack, reloading and firing with remarkable efficiency. This was a collective act of heroism, a testament to the bonds forged in the crucible of war, where trust meant survival. This incident is a microcosm of the broader Soviet resistance during Operation Barbarossa. Despite initial setbacks, the will to fight never truly broke. From the defense of Moscow to the siege of Leningrad, countless acts of defiance and sacrifice characterized the Soviet struggle. The T-34 story is a vivid illustration of this resilience, embodying the spirit of not one step back that defined the Soviet war effort. It's a powerful narrative of a nation's determination to defend its homeland against an existential threat, often with whatever means available. Incidents like this, though localized, forced German commanders to rethink their tactics, especially regarding convoy protection and reconnaissance. They quickly learned the hard way about the T-34's capabilities and began developing new anti-tank weapons and tactics to counter it. The initial shock of encountering the T-34 contributed to the growing realization that the Eastern Front would not be a quick victory. It was a brutal awakening for a military that had, until then, seemed invincible. The T-34 was a stark reminder of Soviet industrial and military potential. Like many wartime accounts, the exact details of Kolosovsky's feat are subject to some variation across historical records. The chaos of battle, the loss of records, and the nature of oral histories mean that numbers and specifics can differ. However, the core narrative of a single T-34 devastating a German column remains consistent and is widely accepted as historical fact. These variations do not diminish the bravery or the impact of the event, but rather highlight the challenges of reconstructing history from fragmented evidence. The choice of ambush site was crucial. The dense forest and narrow road section provided ideal concealment and a choke point. This allowed the T-34 to remain hidden, delivering devastating fire before the Germans could effectively react or even pinpoint its location. The terrain itself became an ally, transforming a seemingly ordinary road into a deadly trap for the unsuspecting German forces. It underscores the importance of understanding and utilizing the environment in military tactics, turning natural features into strategic advantages. The psychological effect of being attacked by an unseen enemy, especially one as powerful as a T-34, is profound. The German soldiers likely assumed they were facing multiple tanks, amplifying their fear and confusion, making coordinated resistance impossible. This masterclass in psychological warfare demonstrates how a smaller force, with cunning, can paralyze a much larger adversary. It wasn't just about firepower, it was about creating an illusion of overwhelming force, turning the enemy's own fear against them. The T-34's design was not only advanced for its time but also remarkably adaptable, allowing for continuous upgrades throughout the war. Its robustness and relative simplicity of construction meant it could be mass-produced quickly, sustaining the Soviet war machine. This adaptability ensured its relevance from the desperate days of 1941 to the final victory in 1945, a true workhorse of the Red Army. The story of Kolosovsky's tank is an early testament to this endurance, showcasing its capabilities even in its initial, less refined form. The Eastern Front taught all participants harsh lessons about modern mechanized warfare, logistics, and the sheer human cost of total war. The T-34 incident is a vivid example of how individual initiatives and local engagements could significantly impact larger operations. It also highlighted the importance of combined arms tactics, which the Germans initially excelled at, but the Soviets rapidly adapted to. The war on the Eastern Front was a continuous learning process, and stories like this fueled the strategies and innovations that followed. In the chaos of war, heroism often emerges not from grand plans, but from moments of desperate courage and tactical brilliance. Kolosovsky and his crew embody this spirit, transforming a seemingly hopeless situation into a resounding victory against overwhelming odds. Their actions serve as an enduring inspiration, reminding us of the extraordinary feats ordinary people are capable of in extraordinary circumstances. It's a story that transcends time, speaking to the universal themes of bravery, sacrifice, and the unwavering human will to survive and resist. Imagine the aftermath. A road choked with burning wreckage, smoke curling into the sky, the silence broken only by distant gunfire. A stark monument to the power of a single tank and the courage of its crew. A scene of utter devastation left in their wake. The German column, once a formidable force, Reduced to a smoldering ruin, its advance decisively halted by one T-34. This image encapsulates the brutal reality of the Eastern Front, where every inch of ground was contested with unimaginable ferocity. While history often focuses on large-scale operations, it's the individual acts of bravery that truly bring the human story of war to life. Kolosovsky's tank crew proved that even in the face of a massive invasion, a small, determined force could make a significant difference. Their story is a powerful reminder that every soldier, every unit, no matter how small, contributes to the grand tapestry of history. It encourages us to look beyond the headlines and appreciate the localized acts of resistance that ultimately shaped the outcome of the war. The T-34 is not just a tank. It's an icon, a symbol of Soviet ingenuity and resilience, forever etched in the annals of military history. Its design influenced tank development globally, and its performance on the Eastern Front earned it legendary status among both allies and adversaries. From its revolutionary sloped armor to its powerful gun, the T-34 represented a paradigm shift in tank warfare. And the story of Kolosovsky's tank is one of the earliest and most dramatic demonstrations of why the T-34 was so feared. As we reflect on this incredible feat, let us remember the courage, the sacrifice, and the sheer audacity of those who fought. The Eastern Front was a theater of unimaginable suffering, but also of extraordinary heroism, often from the most unexpected quarters. The lone T-34 against a German column stands as a timeless reminder of the human spirit's capacity for defiance. It's a story that deserves to be told and retold, ensuring that the legacy of those brave individuals endures through generations. Even today, the legend of the T-34 and its daring crews continues to captivate historians and military enthusiasts alike. It represents a kind of David versus Goliath narrative, but with a steel Goliath facing an even larger, albeit less armored, one. This particular incident has been immortalized in various accounts, a testament to its impact and the awe it inspired. The story transcends mere military history, touching upon themes of courage, cunning, and the raw human will to survive against all odds. So, to recap, a single T-34, expertly concealed and commanded by Ivan Kolosovsky, ambushed a large German column near Ostrov in 1941. Utilizing its superior firepower and armor, combined with clever tactical maneuvering, the tank inflicted catastrophic damage. The attack sowed panic and destruction, effectively halting the column and demonstrating the T-34's formidable capabilities. This act of defiance became a powerful symbol of Soviet resistance, inspiring many and impacting German tactical considerations. The story of the T-34 and its heroic crew is a reminder that even in the darkest hours, ingenuity and courage can prevail. It encourages us to appreciate the individual stories that weave together the grand tapestry of history, each thread vital. Thank you for joining us on this journey into a pivotal moment of World War II. The legacy of the T-34 and its crew lives on. Their actions continue to inspire, reminding us of the profound impact a few determined individuals can have on the course of history. For more incredible stories from World War II and other historical events, be sure to subscribe and follow our channel. We bring you meticulously researched and visually engaging content to illuminate the past and its enduring lessons. Join us next time as we explore another fascinating chapter from the annals of human courage and conflict. Until then, remember the T-34 and the spirit of defiance it represents. Goodbye.